Hey there, everyone. Hi, how are you? I am Bree from How to Present, and today we are talking about how to boost your social media speaking confidence in 4 simple steps. Now, let's be clear. I am talking about live video, the content of which you can spin off into as many video snippets, posts, quotes, checklists, and Pinterest pins as your heart desires, and how this positions you as an authority in your market. Now, if you've been hanging off going live on your Facebook business page, your personal profile, or your group, and you have expertise in your field that you know you should be sharing this massive value that you can offer to your audience, as well as attracting new potential clients to your offers, these 4 steps are going to give you the best chance to think, feel, and take action as your most confident self, by giving you a concrete starting point for the personal development you need to get you there. So my goal for this session is to provide you with the 4C framework. That is checklist, confidence, content, and consistency. So you can best understand where you should focus your time and energy to be able to create live video so easily, feel confident about going live so that you can hit the consistency that you desire that you may not have been able to achieve yet. Yet is the word there. So I want to provide you with the exact steps so you don't waste your time DIYing. Your CEO time is worth a lot of money. Now, if you and I haven't met before, I'm Bree Williams, and I am a public speaking coach and strategist and the founder of How to Present. And I know you all have talks that you need to nail somewhere in your business. So I help professionals and entrepreneurs create speaking strategies that grow their business or their personal brand and position them as experts in their industry. And of course, we design and deliver memorable on-brand presentations while we're at it that speak directly to the needs of your audience, whether they're online, in the boardroom, or on stage. So say hello if you're with me live here. And if you are joining in live, let me know what business you have. And if you're watching on the replay, let me know that as well, and any questions and comments along the way. And I've got a bit of a news flash for you guys. I can also help you use Facebook Lives as a time saver. A lot of people don't believe this, but it is actually easier. Something that you'll consider an easier option than pre-recording a video or writing a blog post, or all those pretty Canva images that we take so much time creating, or maybe that's just me. But there are a lot of steps to remember when you're first starting out, and maybe you have been trying for a while, but you're struggling with consistency. So make sure you grab a copy of the Ultimate Facebook Live Checklist. My clients follow this simple checklist, and then it makes sure that they cover all the steps before, during, and after the live. And I even include a video outline just so you can plug your content in, knowing that all the essential info is covered. Now, what does this look like? It looks like hooking your audience. You don't want to be forgetting a call to action or even how to wrap up your lives. So there's also a rehearsal review sheet as well, so you can get really good at those lives quickly and know what you're looking out for in order to improve. So grab the checklist by clicking on the link in the description, and do let me know that you are on here live. Let me know what your business is. I see Laura. Hey, Laura. I see Jen. Hey, Jen. Just gonna, scroll on over here. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. So again, if you are watching on replay, make sure you drop in there what sort of business you have as well. And I would love for you to share this with anyone in your network who is struggling to go live. The struggle is real, and I know it's real for a lot of people. So if they don't feel confident on social media, share away, tag someone in. There's virtually not a single soul that I know that's not in this Women Helping Women's group. So tag them in and get them involved as well. So let's get this started. I would love to know who is letting their lack of confidence with the camera, with going live and sharing live videos to stories, stop them from speaking up. If this is you, drop me a me in the comments. If you're so over it and you're ready for something new, let me know. And this seems like a good point to get started with the 4 C's now. So for those of you who are familiar with the stages of competence, you'll have heard of unconscious incompetence before. And if you haven't heard of that, we're just going to call this stage you don't know what you don't know, okay? So let me give you an example. So you know that it's possible for planes to fly in the air, right? If you were to sit down in the cockpit, you wouldn't really have the first idea about what buttons to press and in what order, and definitely what buttons you don't want to press, right? You get the idea. And this is where the first C comes into play, and that is checklist. Now, the checklist may be a video, it may be a workbook or an actual list on a clipboard. The format is not particularly important. What's important here is that you are starting to understand that there are steps to take, even if you don't fully understand each of their steps or how you're going to go about them. And this is where you are reaching conscious incompetence. So now you know you don't know. So when you watch videos or lives on social media, as a viewer, you aren't really thinking about the buttons to press or what sort of preparation the speaker did beforehand. However, the minute that it's you in the driving seat, that you decide you want to go live, you want to be on the other side of the camera, then you want to know more about that, right? So what the actual steps are, in what order to complete them, and you probably don't want to be too creative here. You just want to know the essentials to get you started. Just tell me, how am I going to get from A to B, right? So if you are not a particularly confident speaker, you can start creating a long list of this at this stage of things that you must learn, almost as a way to create a barrier to either lengthen the time before you actually have to do the thing, or you're creating this really uphill learning curve that seems way too hard and gives you the option to opt out. Give me a hands up if that's been you so far. Let me know in the comments. No judgment. We've all been there at different times. It may not be with lives, it may be with something else, but let me know if you have created a bit of a situation for yourself where that to-do list is just never done in terms of live video. So if you've not got started, or you have started and not kept going, let me know. So for my detail and action-oriented viewers, this can give you immense comfort to have the specifics right in front of you, which will help you move on to the next stage. You know the steps to follow. You've just got to go ahead and execute on them. So the link to the checklist is in the description for you, which will help you go on to the next essential step, which is confidence, our second C in the 4C framework. So you are sitting there with your checklist now, and you're all aware that you do not know what you need to know. Eek. Because you've either never gone live before, or you've had patchy attempts in the past and you haven't stuck with it. So how do you move forward? First, we want to build your confidence and your grace under fire. So that is your ability to maintain your cool under pressure by practicing in conditions as close to the real thing as possible. Studies have shown that by doing this, by rehearsing in conditions as close to the real thing as possible, you're reducing, this is the best way to reduce speaking anxiety, because you are going through the exact process that you need to, or close to the exact process that you need to do it in real life. Imagine the sprinter that just thought about running instead of actually putting their feet on the blocks and going for it, right? So here's your moment. Grab your smartphone and hit record and start getting used to speaking to the camera, where you need to look to make eye contact, and what you want to look and sound like, and what feel you want to have in your videos. Simple things like, will I sit down when I record? Will I stand up? Will I be inside, outside? What do I want this thing to look like? Get some specifics down. And then I want you next to think about what actually makes you feel confident on those days when you just feel awesome, you feel like you can take on the world. So the things, thoughts, actions that make you feel great, the best version of yourself that you are in control of. So we're not going to put the control outside of ourselves here and create conditions that we can't possibly meet on our own steam. Picking up what I'm putting down there? So have a think about what that looks like for you. For you, that might be having enough time to prepare a really solid outline. You want to know that you've got every single point covered that you want to get covered. It might be something physical, like deep, slow breathing, creating that environment that makes you feel really calm and really prepared. Or it might be dancing to get your energy up and get your mood up as well before you go live. Maybe you want to bring some real energy to a live video, and you know that you need to do something specific to do that. So Finally, it might be imagining or even actually talking to your best friend, your bestie beforehand, and having them join you live so you're not actually talking to yourself. This is one that people struggle with. How am I going to do this while I'm just speaking to myself? So think about what's going to work for you and start to put some of these things into place. So when you build up your confidence and start taking action, what I would call applied learning, then you start to hit the zone of conscious competence. You've hit the runway and the plane is actually flying. So you know how to do it and you are actually doing it. But you're also aware that you're doing it. It's this kind of focus that you have on it while you're in the moment. So what can happen then? Well, some of us will just keep that plane flying and stay high in the air. And others, well, if we focus on it too much, sometimes we have a wobble, maybe we crash. So how do we make sure that our confidence stays high and we continue to build our skills? In addition to our first two C's, our checklist and setting ourselves up for confidence, we put some seriously great content into the mix at this point. This is our third C, okay? So let's talk about lived experiences, not borrowed theories. You can draw on others' stories for content, but we want to add our own opinions and perspective and wisdom along with our own great results or our clients' great results along the way. We also want to choose, let's choose low-hanging fruit. We don't want to be stuck talking about this one topic forever, but seriously consider how much energy you will save by talking about things that you actually know inside out. You don't need to really sweat the details on the content, and you can free up your energy to focus on building new skills in live video, and most importantly, engaging your audience as well, and being the source of energy and knowledge and enthusiasm in your videos. So here's an important note as well. Let's also note that it's really not about you. And it's certainly not about all the things that you know. We need to put the audience at the center of your planning. And maybe that gives you comfort that instead of feeling as though this is all on you, you're feeling nervous, the focus is all on you, think about the people that you're going to help by speaking up. Think about the information that you're sharing and how that might be just exactly what they needed to hear at that moment. So a few questions you might consider is, what problems are your audience experiencing firsthand right now? And you have, what problems are they experiencing that you have firsthand knowledge of solving? So things that you can actually really draw on without a lot of thought, without a lot of kind of structuring the message. You can just speak to it. How have you solved this problem for yourself or others? So what stories and results can you share? That's going to lift people up, that's going to motivate them, give them a new perspective. And depending on your area of expertise, what high quality discussions could you start through your live videos that show your thought leadership, but also give your audience a chance to share more about themselves? They like getting involved. You're learning more about your audience, and this is actually a conversation then. It's not just a video that feels like a one-way monologue. It starts to become a dialogue. It's a conversation, okay? So let me pause for a moment and come on over to the comments because I think we've got a few in here. Hey there. Hey, Veronica. Hey, Alicia. Monet. Hey there. I don't have my glasses on, nor my contacts. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. All right. So if you have questions along the way, guys, let me know what they are. Pop them into the comments there. So you may do the same thing as me, which is when you see your ideal client, entrepreneurs post on social media. For me, it's about lack of speaking confidence or not knowing where to get started with lives. I know that I can offer something that that person hasn't learned yet because they're asking the question, they want input, they want to know, or they're doing that phishing thing. But, you know, let's assume the positive intent in those messages. And I know because I've been helping people communicate better for the last 15 years and more, but I'll never start with just getting in there and dropping all the general tips. You know, here's me unloading all the things I know about speaking confidence, speaking up on lives, public speaking anxiety, all the things, right? So I usually ask a question to better understand exactly what the issue is, with that extra step, you get that much closer to being able to provide a really specific answer and ultimately more useful content or comment. And you want your videos to be at this next level as well. So not just taking the obvious, but going that one step further that really does speak to a need that people have. You're really answering the questions that they have. Because the problem with packing your videos to the brim with too many tips or tips that are not targeted is that your messages can lack clarity, and potentially you're even overwhelming people or confusing them, or heaven forbid, boring them, because you're not speaking directly to their needs. And they don't want to hear your list of life achievements, although it may be good to weave some credibility stories into your lives as well. They just want their problem solved. They just want to know that you can help. So break up your videos in a way that makes sense for your particular topic. So think about, are you going to share one detailed tip in a 5-minute video, or something like a whole framework, like today's 4C framework, in a 30-minute mini session? Think about what makes sense for the content that you want to present. You can also have a 5-minute 4C framework video, but I would need to lead that into another more in-depth video or another document that would explain the topic in greater detail and do it justice. So you can always create different formats for the same content, but don't try and mix the message with the wrong timeline, if you like. So the design absolutely matters, and the video outline in the checklist will help you design value videos. So these are compact, value-packed videos that deliver a solid hook, up to 3 key messages, a call to action, as well as handling Q&A and a dynamic close. So these are all the pieces that you need for a really well-rounded Facebook Live that delivers value for your audience. So when you're talking about content that you know really well and you know your audience loves, the prospect of going live becomes so much easier. And it could be that you are on your way now to unconscious competence, where you don't need to think about every little thing anymore, and it's becoming part of your new normal and something that you don't need to focus on for it to happen necessarily. You are building some solid skills, which brings us to our 4th and final C, which is consistency. So consistency is achievable when you have confidence in your content. You can see how this framework builds up on itself, and there are 2 aspects that you can consider in terms of consistency. So that is consistency in your schedule, so how often you're showing up on your lives, and also consistency in your content. So are you producing content that is really honed in, dialed in to solving problems, or are you kind of doing a pick and mix and confusing people potentially? So we talked about this in another live recently in my group. So sometimes you just don't know what to talk about, and this can be your excuse not to go live. So you go live here and there where you feel like it, and your audience don't really know when you're going to turn up, what content you're likely to talk about. And so they're not really tuned into you. They're not keeping an eye out for you and your content. So for some people, going live can just become an absolute superpower that they don't know they've got, frankly. It's much easier than writing an article. And for some creatively challenged folks, it's definitely easier than fiddling about in Canva. So here is my suggestion for creating consistency, depth, and really great content that your audience love. So first thing here is to use your client's words, the exact ones. So after your client calls, or some chat that you get into online, note down the exact words and problems that you are talking about and create a file that has all of your ideas in it. So the process here is to create a quick title. This will eventually become your headline for your live, and also up to 3 points that relate to that topic. So if you've got 10 points, it might be that you're in too much detail and you want to kind of take it up a level. And so be organized in your efforts so that you can be disciplined in your choices as well. So start to sort these ideas out as you're adding to them regularly, as they're coming to you by theme. So perhaps ruling out some topics that are good ideas at the time, but just not your primary focus. They may be a little bit out of your lane for now. You want to create quality content that demonstrates your knowledge and your expertise in your field, and that requires you to go deeper on a couple of core themes rather than skimming over hundreds of topics. So if you want to position yourself as an expert in your field, this is what you need to do. So if you have written articles, blog posts, long form posts on social media, use these as a starting point to create more in-depth content on your core themes once you've identified them. And here is your full permission slip to be repetitive. Please, please, please don't feel like you've got to create loads of new content. No one sees every post or every video that you create. So have a look. If you've been in business for a little while, have a look to what you were doing 3 months ago. Update pieces, polish them, add a part 2. And there's no end to what you can talk about once you actually get really clear on what your core themes are and what your audience want. It's just never ending, especially if you're really tuned in and asking questions of your audience and paying attention to the answers. Asking great questions is a good one. The beauty of figuring out what your core themes are is that you're now one step closer to speaking gigs, podcasts, guest expert interviews, and more. But that is a topic for another day. So if you're interested to learn anything more about any of those things I just mentioned, the podcast, speaking gigs, or guest expert interviews, just type speaker in the comments so we can easily track each other down on that one. You can also create a timeline or plug your lives into your content calendar when you arrange them in this file. And so you know when you want to speak about particular topics, or perhaps even create a training or an interview series that's going to support your offers. And on top of the consistent content that you're putting out there, you're creating some real periods of intensity, of interest, of energy, and getting people excited about the content that you're putting out there. You want to also set a realistic go live plan that you can stick to, whether that's going live daily, weekly, or monthly. It's important that it becomes a scheduled event in your calendar that your audience can look forward to. They know what to expect from you. You can do this on repeat and never ever run out of content for your live videos ever again. So let me know, what questions do you have about increasing your speaking confidence, you're creating content, or creating consistency? Let me know in the comments. And while you're doing that, I'll let you know if you have been having trouble getting started with live video or sticking to a plan, and your social media presence just needs a boost. You're potentially online a little bit more rather than doing your in-person stuff at the moment, check out the Ultimate Facebook Live checklist in the comments. All the steps you need for before, during, and after your live, as well as a video outline that hooks your audience, keeps them engaged, and invites that audience to take the next step with you. So I'm going to come across and take a look if we've got any questions at the moment. Hi, Sheila, Jermaine, Andrea. Okay, so questions are not coming in yet. So I'm just going to say, if you have been hanging off going live on your Facebook business page, your personal profile, or your group, and you have expertise in your field that you know you should be sharing, you know that this is going to help you position yourself as an expert in your field, it's going to offer massive value to your audience, as well as attracting new potential clients to your offers. Remember the 4C framework. This is it. If you're just joining in a little late, here's the recap for you. The first is checklist. So follow the Ultimate Facebook Live checklist, which gives you the exact steps so you don't waste time DIYing, because your CEO time is worth a lot of money. You just want to know the steps so you can follow them and get on with it. Secondly, confidence. So do the things that give you the best chance to think, feel, and act as your most confident self. Take a moment to really reflect on that and think about what those conditions would be that you can set up for yourself. Third C is content. So it's all about your audience and picking that low-hanging fruit to go live on. So these topics you know inside out, you don't have to spend your energy really preparing heavily for that content. You can pile your energy into nailing your live videos and engaging your audience. And finally, the fourth C is consistency. So both in your schedule and in your content, you want your audience looking for your content, and you want them thinking of you first when your area of expertise is needed. So they're actively looking for your videos and engaging with you and building your brand. So say it with me, guys. Content confidence equals consistency. You need these elements to feel really confident in your live videos and to have them really engage your audience. So you too can start to feel awesome when someone tells you your video was exactly what they needed to hear at that moment and that they want to work with you. So this can happen really quickly once you have an online speaking strategy in place. So one final check of the questions here. We've got a few shy guys here. So Andre and Wendy. Hey, Wendy. So again, I'm Bree Williams. I'm a public speaking coach and strategist from How to Present. Thank you to the Women Helping Women community here today for watching and for the opportunity to connect with you all today. Make sure you speak soon and let me know if you have any questions at all. I'd be very happy to answer them. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.